Hello there, everybody. Welcome to Awesome Acknowledged, fourth show. Today's guest is someone whom I had the honor of attending high school with and the honor of attending many Marvel premieres with and discussing Marvel films with, and just one of the coolest people ever, the legendary Shannon O'Sullivan. Thank you so much, Shannon, for being on the show. How are you today?
I'm just dandy. I'm honored to be on your show. Super
Oh,
stoked.
it's very excited for a little background. Shannon is a huge fan of all things outdoors, and she enrolled in the NOLS program, which stands for National Outdoor Leadership School, a few years back. And she's been currently residing in the Northwest region for some time. And Shannon just has such a great knowledge of hiking, exploring, kayaking, biking, and I was just so incredibly interested in hearing more about that experience. So Shannon, first off, what inspired you to attend Knowles, and like when did you know this was the place?
I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, like straight out of high school, like what field I wanted to go into, but I knew that I definitely didn't want to sit in an office, and I wanted to be outside. I wanted to travel, like teach people. And then someone I know took a Knowles course and told me about it, and I was like, wow, sign me up. That sounds awesome. I am in. And I pretty much just like looked everything up and submitted my application and told my parents, and they were like, "What? What are you about to go do?" But yeah, it all happened pretty fast, I would say. But I think it was a good decision.
Oh, exactly. Like you love the outdoors, so perfect fit. Literally, that's. I'm so glad that you made it out there.
Yeah, me too.
And I remember when you enrolled, you told me about like we definitely talked about this, and I
Oh yeah.
wish I remembered more. But you told me about a particular Knowles experience in which students kind of go into the wilderness for an allotted amount of time, and can you just discuss a little bit more about what that experience entailed?
So I was out for 3 months total,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a 2 night, 2 day solo experience. So I was just like all by myself. And this was in the Grand Gulch area of the Canyonlands in Utah. So basically, I was backpacking around with I think 13 other people and some instructors. And then our 2 day, 2 night thing, we like scouted areas for everyone to go like be alone. And we all spread out down these like four canyon uh, areas. And we had like a signal, I guess, if you will. Like my thing was I would like hang this bandana from this tree so that like from a distance people could see if I was like all right. But for the whole like 2 days, 2 nights, like I didn't see anyone. I just had this massive boulder that I just like set my stuff up on. Slept under the stars. My headlamp died, so I was just like in the dark for a long time by myself. Um, but it was so amazing, and it's such a different experience to be somewhere like completely remote, all by yourself. Um, it was awesome. I played a lot of solitaire. I like explored the canyon around me, did a lot of journaling. I did a lot of reading. Some of the people I was with fasted for the 2 days, 2 nights that we were by ourselves. That was like a big thing. I decided that I needed food, so I made like this loaf of bread to bring with me. So I had like one loaf of bread and just like my stuff, and that was it. And I just hung out for a couple days, and it was really awesome.
Like you said, just the way you described it, it seems like it's just such an enlightening experience. Like you said, something so remote. I mean, there's truly like I could go like to a local forest and like stand there, and be like, oh, I'm by myself, and then
Out
just
here, yeah.
out here. Then I literally could like walk like 5 minutes and find like the chain restaurant. But yeah, out there, you're literally by yourself, and that is so cool. And the fact that I you did that is just so amazing. When you were out there, did you like ever have an experience with an animal? Was there like a animal, like any animal encounters out there?
Not so much when I was by myself, but over like the course of this whole 3 month expedition, we saw a lot of wildlife. We saw like elk and moose and deer and I think we saw a bear at one point. We saw signs of mountain lions and like prints and scat and things like that, but mountain lions are like really elusive creatures, so if you see one, you should get out of there. But yeah, not when I was by myself so much, other than like little rodents and like bugs and stuff, but lots of birds, a little bit of everything. Oh, we saw a giant tarantula. That was wild. I've never seen like a tarantula in its
Yeah, I didn't even know
natural
that lived in
habitat.
Utah. I should be more informed about
Right?
my arachnid locations. That's so cool they're in Utah. I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until it like crawled out into our camp.
So what advice would you have for anyone wanting to attend NOLS or any other similar outdoor education institutions, and anyone who just kind of who wants to experience what you experience? What advice would you have?
I would say just do it. I think that it's just like an amazing experience, and you'll learn like so much, not only about like the world around you and like technical skills and safety management, but like a lot about yourself, which I think is super important. And a lot about like leadership and working with others. And I think there's a lot that you can learn like outside of a classroom setting, just like hands on. And I think some tips, I would train a little bit. I remember on like day two, carrying my giant backpack, being like, what am I doing? Like, I needed to prepare a little more. But then it was fine. I always tell people like that I'm with, or if I'm like taking people out for the first time, like I truly believe that it's like 100% mental. Like people are like, why, what do you like, how can I do this? But like I really think that actually anyone can do it. It's like all in your head. You just have to kind of like push through that mental barrier and like deal with the physical aspects, because it is like challenging and it's hard work, but it's like all worth it. Yeah, and people might think it's weird. They'll be like, why are you choosing to do this? But yeah, I would highly recommend.
Well, like you said, you just learn so many skills, and you learn a little bit about yourself. You learn, yeah, it's just so many good skills to be learned out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we should go. We should go somewhere sometime.
Yeah, I'll bring like a
You,
portable so I can watch all my Marvel movies. I'll bring like
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And and the
I'll
shield.
bring the
We need the
shield.
shield
We will
for
bring the
sure.
shield. That way, we could just
Protect us from the elements.
the elements exactly. Give be a nice roof over our heads. Be
Yeah.
perfect. I hope well, it's vibranium, so the paint might melt off,
The paint.
but it's vibranium, so it would be good from any elements. Kind of going back, I know we talked about the food. What sort of food would you recommend for an outdoor trip?
I think that like cooking your breakfast and your dinner is such a huge part of the expedition, and like really brings people together. Like you chat a lot in the kitchen and you just hang out for a while. Um, and I think that personally, like I've been on expeditions where you bring like a bunch of ingredients and you kind of cook your own food and decide what you're gonna do. And then I've been on expeditions where you just bring like bags of dehydrated food and you add water, and it's like pretty gross. And I would recommend, unless you're trying to go super light, to not take the dehydrated food, especially if you're with like a bunch of people. It's just like really awesome to cook. Some of my favorite things to make in the backcountry are pizzas, which not a lot of people like think that's something that's feasible, but you can do like a lot of baking in the backcountry, like breads, and you can make cinnamon rolls, and like you can go all out and not have to carry a ton of stuff, especially with your like if you have other people with you to divide the food. Um, Everything I bring is always in like plastic bags like this. Um, I have all this stuff because you don't want to like all this extra waste to carry around. Like if I'm bringing stuff that's like wrapped up, like if I'm bringing chocolate bars, which I always bring chocolate, keep you sane out there. I'll like unwrap everything and put it in plastic bags before I go into the field so that I don't have to like carry around all this garbage. Um, But I do think cooking is like a really important part of the expedition, like a really good experience. So I would recommend like planning your meals beforehand and bringing a bunch of versatile ingredients that you can use for like multiple meals, and then just like being creative in the field and like cooking with your friends and seeing what you can come up with. You can make like cakes. You can like really go big out there. You don't have to eat like rice and beans the whole time. You can
This
spice it
is
up.
mind blowing. I did not know you could pizza under the stars and like
So
oh that sounds like the perfect mix right there. Yeah, I'm really glad to know this because if someone said you're going on a trip right now tomorrow, I'd go to like the sporting goods store and pick up like dehydrated apricots and something
no,
like
don't
that.
do that.
Yeah,
it's,
but
it's
yeah,
good for some things, but some of that food is pretty rough. And you can carry like lightweight food, and like I never really have like a huge heavy pack. I try to like be as minimalistic as possible, and like I still eat a lot of food in the field, so it's important.
yeah, that's so cool. I am gonna make a cake next time.
Yes.
That sounds awesome. So kind of going off the topic of food, let's talk about drinking water. I know water can always kind of you have to can be concerned about the bacteria or if the source is safe. And I'm just curious, like, what's the best way to go about drinking water?
It depends really where you are. Something I always bring with me, I have right here. This is Aquamira. So you have like part A and part B, and you put drops of this in your water and wait 20 minutes, and it's good to go. I would say it leaves little to no taste in your water. And the reason I use this is because there's tons of drops in here. Like you can carry this for a pretty long expedition and this will last you, and it's just really small and light. I know people who bring like water filtration devices, and something that I think is important also is that your system is simple. Like you don't want your filtration system to break and then you have like nothing with you. So like this is just super easy, really convenient. It's not gonna like break on you. You can also boil your water, but while you're like on the trail hiking, you don't really have time to do that. So this is a good option. And yeah, it really depends on where you are. Like if I'm in super high alpine, like on the glacier, and I can like see the water coming off, sometimes I'll just like take a chance and drink it because I don't know, I'm lazy, but I don't recommend that all the time, especially if you're in the desert. Definitely purify your water in the desert. It
Yeah.
gets pretty rank.
So like part A and part B, do you put what's the difference between the two different types of in that the bottles?
Honestly, I don't know. Well, I guess there's ingredients on here. I think this is like chlorine and some other stuff, but you put for like 1 liter of water, you put seven of each drops, and you like let it sit in the cap and it'll turn yellow. And then once it's yellow, that's how you know to like put in your water.
Okay,
And
awesome. That's so cool. Like you said, it's so lightweight, so you never like you can't really break that unless like it's spilled. But yeah, that'd be
yeah.
definitely like a filtration system could definitely be more troublesome in that regard. And kind of going into specific hobbies, I think kayaking is just so cool, and I think that's so cool how you do it. And just what advice would you have for anyone kayaking? Is there any, what advice would you have for that?
Ooh, kayaking. Okay, go where you know, like go somewhere that like you know the river, unless you're like a super like confident boater, or if you like go with somebody else who knows the river. And like if you are a boater, you're doing some whitewater stuff, like you should know the basics of like how to read the water and like how to read like how the river flows and all the hazards in the water. You should like definitely be aware of. You should always wear your boating helmet and your PFD, your life jacket. Um, Definitely do that, 100%. Practice rolling your kayak, super important. Um, yeah, and I would just like stay cautious because whitewater is no joke, you can get like trapped in some things and
Oh yeah,
die
totally.
or struggle.
The white water can just like, totally go, it goes in currents, and it's so, like you said, I think, yeah, it's so important to be prepared for that. And kind of tying in, this is a question that kind of goes back to when I talked about the Marvel premieres.
Oh yeah.
Let's say that every Avenger and all the characters from Guardians of the Galaxy, so pretty much any character in the MCU, they were all just like trapped in the wilderness. I don't know the rules of this situation right now,
Oh
just because
no.
like, does Iron Man have a suit? I don't know. Let's just say they're all
Yeah,
like,
does he?
let's just say they're all like, just they don't have their special items with them,
Okay.
but like they have, which other characters do you think would do the best?
Hmm. Okay, who's the most like resourceful? That's what I'm trying to
Yeah, that's a good.
pinpoint. Cuz like if they don't have their stuff with them, like they can't just fly out, you know? They can't just like call up
Yeah, or maybe
someone.
we could do it like there's like a no fly like barrier, so like no one can
Yeah, they
fly
can't
out.
fly. No
So like,
fly
because
zone.
it's more fun to think about Iron Man, definitely like out there.
Oh man.
But Tony Stark, he built his suit from a box of scraps, so he could like build like a suit out of
Right?
sticks.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
Like
Hmm.
he's pretty resourceful and like knows his way around like building things, and he could like build, I don't know, build something to help him. I also want to say like Black Widow, but I don't know if that's just because I really like her
Oh,
or
such a great character. Oh, she could totally like she's a spy, so she always kind of has to
yeah,
probably adapt to any environment she's in.
yeah. Oh man, there's so many. They could
And
work together. If they
yeah,
all work together, then obviously they would get out
yeah,
because they're the Avengers and
exactly. They're a
they
team.
they're a team. Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's a
Oh
great quote.
gosh, I think think they would all do pretty okay,
Yeah, they.
except maybe. Or ooh, okay. Does Ant Man can he still communicate with ants? Because then he could like
Oh,
find his army of ants, or like hop on a fly and like fly out of there.
yeah, he could just like talk to his ants, like, "Hey, where's the way out of the forest?
Please help.
Please help." Or Rocket, he would just. Well, I don't know. I don't think he'd want to
Oh
talk to
yeah,
raccoons. He'd probably just want to. He doesn't. I don't think he knows that raccoons are on Earth.
yeah. Rocket could do pretty good if he knows what he's doing. Or Groot. Groot could just, I don't know, grow really tall and like look for the way out.
He could become the forest.
Yeah, he'll just stay there. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it'll definitely be Tony Stark, Black Widow, Groot, Rocket, Ant Man. Like you said, though, I think if they all work together,
Oh yeah.
it's probably a better question is which one would not.
Yeah.
They're all
Who would
pretty
they
good.
sacrifice and
Yeah,
leave behind?
who would not do well? I don't know. Yeah, that'd be yeah. They could all make do probably.
I hope so.
Well, Shan, that's all the questions about the topic. We've been kind of about the outdoors, but a recurring segment I have on the show, and I think this segment really ties in nicely with what we were talking
Oh
about.
yeah.
My favorite species of bird is the blue jay. They're so cool, and one of my random life goals, I don't know why, is to just take like a really awesome picture of a blue jay. And what advice would you have, Shannon, for spotting and photographing a blue jay? Have you ever seen one
Ooh.
out where you are?
Yeah, I saw one last weekend. I saw three of them last weekend,
Oh,
all
that is
together, like
awesome.
flying around
Mhm.
together. Which is funny that you asked this because I just saw them. I would say, and I'm not much of like a birder, like someone who goes out and actively sits there and looking for birds. But if I had to come up with some tips, it would probably be know what you're looking for, obviously.
Oh yeah,
The
that's a good.
blue
It's good to start out like
bird.
that. Yeah.
And then probably just like hike in where there are no people, and try to get like off trail somewhere. Maybe where you know they'll be, like around a food source for them, like figure out what they like to eat, whether that be like pine cones or nuts and seeds and things, and maybe like stake out a spot where like you think they'll show up, and then probably just like hang out and just sit there for a while and try to be quiet, and I guess until you see one.
That's a
Maybe you
really
could
good
like bait
point.
them with something.
Yeah, I like the food source idea a lot. I never Cause that'd be like I could find out like what they specifically like, maybe set it up on a bird feeder or something like that, or go
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
where that is located. That's a great idea. I'm learning so much about how to. One of these days, it's gonna happen. Hopefully,
Oh, it'll happen. You should come out to Wyoming and we'll find some mountain blue
mountain
jays.
blue jays. We can make pizza and then find
Yeah.
blue jays. Well, Shannon, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for just talking about NOLS, and I learned it's just from like I learned so much just in this last 20 minutes, and I definitely
Yeah.
next time I go, if I'm ever in the outdoors for an extended period of time, we're definitely gonna look for those the Part A, Part B drops, and definitely gonna look at food
Yeah.
differently, and just learned so much. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Yeah, you're welcome. This was super fun.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Shannon.
having me.
Yep, always an honor. And thank you everyone for watching, and we hope you have a marvelous day. Uh,
Yeah.